beautiful evening in Houston, 30-odd degrees, not a full stadium. It holds 20,000, but we'll find out soon as to the progress of the USA and its rugby. With me, Chris Patterson.
Yeah, looking forward to this one after last week's impressive start to the summer tour for Scotland. A bigger challenge, as the lads in the studio said this evening. The USA are far better conditioned, really powerful, really explosive, and it'll be a big challenge for this young Scotland side.
Time for the home team anthem. One of the great anthems, and you could tell the emotion there. This will be much tougher wherever you are watching this. You will have to stand by, because this will be a much bigger game for the Scots. It's an inexperienced Scottish team up against some big name Americans. Well, there's the Scots. 12 changes from the Canada game. 2 sets of brothers in the Scottish team. The Horns, Peter and George in the backs, Xander and Matt Ferguson in the forwards. Only the 8th time 2 sets of brothers have been on the field at the same time for Scotland. Blair Kinghorn is on the wing. Watch out for both these USA centres, Campbell and Lasika. They're bulldozers in rugby strips. McGinty at 10, the former Connacht star up front, a big pack with Toulon's Manoa in the second row. Cam Dolan, the number 8, a big, rangy runner. And the referee is Mr. Wayne Barnes. Chris Patterson, we're about to kick off. This will be a tough one. This is not going to be anything other than difficult. No,
it's a good challenge for Scotland, and it's one they'll look forward to. And it's great that these young players have the opportunity as well, the challenge ahead of them. The USA are unbeaten in 2018. They've only got 1 defeat in the last 10, and that was a 1-point defeat against Georgia, 21 points to 20 in November. So they're on form. They scored over 60 points last week against Russia. Wayne Barnes is refereeing, and he'll keep control of it. And I think we'll see Scotland play quickly. Although it's hot and humid, I think we'll see them play quickly and keep the ball in play as much as possible.
Okay, time your run, please, Scotland.
Well, the captain, Stuart Hogg, about to get the game underway. Wayne Barnes' whistle goes. Scotland playing right to left. Beautiful stadium. And the Americans have it just outside there, 22. Sean Davis, the little scrum half, originally South African, looks left, the big second row. Civita takes it up. White jerseys in. I've watched a few of their videos. They're pretty efficient at breakdown. They're big men. They will want to impose themselves physically on the Scots.
Yeah, and very composed start. John Quill with the kick-off. Davis's box kick's a little bit too long, and Adam Hastings is comfortable under that high ball.
Hastings half through the gap, up to the halfway line. Horn flings it out to Hogg. Hogg long. Scots gather. Swinson's there. Horn looks to his right. I think Andy Nicol was talking about he just does his job. He's doing it well so far. To his brother. Horn to Hogg. Hogg breaks away. Stuart Hogg. Is Hogg almost all the way through a try? It's going to be for Kinghorn. That is a brilliant start for the Scots. Unbelievable way to start the game. Kinghorn right on the scoreboard. Scotland 5-0 up.
It's a perfect start for Scotland, and what a try. The fact that the Scots' backs mixed and matched the positions made them all comfortable. handling possession. Matt Fagerson's first touch was delicious, soft pass out the back to get the ball to the edge. On the outside defenders for the USA were Quill and Savetta. That's numbers 5 and 6, and Stuart Hogg took full advantage. This is Matt Fagerson's pass out behind Batty to Hastings. Horn then moves it on again, and Hoggy spots Quill on the outside. He takes him on, fends him, gets a hand free in the tackle, and Blair Kinghorn, so athletic, long ranging stride, dives over in the corner. That is a cracking first try for Scotland.
Lots of width, lots of deft handling, and the pass you talked about with Matt Fagerson. He is 19 years old and 335 days. He's the youngest man ever to play number 8 for Scotland. He's the first teenager to start in a Scotland pack since 1951. He's just the third teenager to play for Scotland in the pro era after Stuart Hogg and Johnny Gray, and deft hands.
Yeah, and you can imagine I suppose the emotion, the raw pride, all the excitement going through his mind with all those, reasons, but he kept calm. He did exactly what he had to do. Caught, and instead of trying to win the game in the opening minute, get a good first touch, he did exactly what he needed to do. And he put a lovely pass out to the edge where, well, the explosive back three of Scotland took advantage.
Kinghorn from the right touchline. Looks good. Touch judges like it. Just need to apologise. I hear you heard a couple of inappropriate words. Our apologies for that. Scotland, though, leading 7-0.
It came from the box 6 from Sean Davis. It was too long, and that just invited the pressure on from Scotland. And the ability to take and draw the defenders. As I said, 2 forwards caught on the outside edge for the USA, and they just couldn't match the pace of Kinghorn and Hogg. A great start.
Great take, I think, by Carmichael. Horn gives it to Turner. Turner makes ground. Horn just looks back, finds Hogg. Hogg with that long spiral kick into American territory. The whistle's gone.
Yeah.
There's a man in there, fellas.
Yeah. Tackling there, and that's exactly what Scotland want as the away team. We've spoken about the physicality of the USA side. They themselves said they wanted to start this game quicker than they did last week. They went on to score over 60 points, 62 points to 13, 9 tries against Russia last week, but they were disappointed with how they started, and the focus for them this week was to start quickly. So far they've conceded a try, they've conceded an early penalty, and it's another opportunity for Scotland to build the phases, and that's exactly, as an away side, that's what you want to do. Manage the game, impose yourself, and put the pressure on the home side.
First line out of the game, Turner, who had that hat-trick last week. The Scots drive. Hamilton out the back is a little sneaky. Shorter ball. Kinghorn's off the right wing. Horn points. Forwards come round the corner. Swinson in that number 6 jersey, 6'4", 17, 18 stone. Horn looks up. Another group of forwards taken up by Turner. Scots in their pattern. They're very quickly into their pattern.
There's a lot of passes, a lot of short passes, which means that the USA defence can't come up too quickly. There's a lot of options there for the ball handler, and it's a good start from Scotland, to keep saying, dictating the possession, dictating the territory.
Hastings as well, moving the ball on. This time to Swinson. In comes Grigg.
Off your feet now,
Horn
6.
wants it.
Good work.
And the Americans are having to defend. Round the corner comes Tulish. Shorter ball to Fagerson. Hamilton. This is good play by the Scots, just as you say, making the Americans defend. Pulled out and behind. Good tackle though, it's going to be loose. Kinghorn goes back. He is taken down. He's at least tackled by McGinty, and Wayne Barnes blows again.
In the tackle, just a knock on from 12. Tackle's
Yeah,
good, but it's still a knock on.
Coming back for it was a tackle by, we've spoken about him often already in the build-up to the match, you and I, John Paul Asike, the 12. That's him there, just crossing the centre field. He's a squat, stocky, inside centre, and he runs hard on the ball. He actually hits hard in the tackle as well. Watch this, he spies Peter Horn at the back, accelerates into the contact, and his left arm knocked the ball forward.
Yeah, the tackler there, Lasike, is one of 9 children, and originally from New Zealand, and plays pretty good quality American football over here. He plays for the local team, and he's played pro football.
That's what he did there. his timing was perfect, but if that timing is just slightly too slow, or he makes a decision slightly late, it's exactly what Scotland want, it's exactly what Peter Horne wants, because he draw in the defender and move the ball to the space.
Scottish pack is steady. Horne just cajoles his team. Ooh, a penalty against Scotland.
Just watch your shape, Jamie. Ball stuck in here.
Jamie Batty, who's saying, watch your shape.
Yeah, just saying he just lost his shape.
Maybe?
Yeah, I thought that may have been a reset. It didn't look overly obvious to me. It actually looked as if the USA tight head Paul Mullen was on his way down first before Jamie Batty.
That's AJ McGinty, who was once a famous child actor. Do you know the film?
You tell me.
Alexander the Great. He starred alongside Angelina Jolie before he became a Connacht rugby player.
Really?
Yep.
He grew up in Dublin. He was in the Leinster Academy. They moved to Connacht. Now plays at Sale Sharks, and he's one of the star players for the USA side. A good head, a good calming influence at number 10.
Joe Tough 80 taken by the big second or Nick Civetta, and the Americans will have been stung by that first try. They're not used to losing this year. They've not lost this year. Taufetti has taken on again by these forwards in big white jerseys. Shorter ball. Here's the wrecking ball. It is Paul Lasike, the number 12, taken down by young Hastings. Round the corner they come again. You've got the back row of John Quill. You've got Hanko Hermeses and Cam Dolan, the big number 8. This is Civetta. And you've got Swinson in with a tackle. Sean Davis moves it out. This is John Quill. Interception Scotland have. Kicked on by McGuigan. And it's deep into USA territory. This is a runner, Marcel Braca. Originally South Africa, now playing in Australia. Short, flat pass out to Scully. Scully on the outside. And Scots having to do the tackling.
Yeah, just lost forward there as Blaine Scully tried to free his hands and pop the ball back inside. It's the number 11 for the USA, Marcel Brache. He's a dangerous counter-attacker.
He's a runner, isn't he?
He's a runner. He scored a wonderful try last week against Russia from broken counter-attack play. And just as you saw there, when he picked it up and halfway, I was a little bit worried. You don't want to get that guy too many opportunities or too much space. And Scotland in that last phase had to make a lot of good tackles. We saw Lasike coming direct, hit really well by Adam Hastings, and then it was a case of one-out runners coming round the corner, and Scotland stood up to it pretty well, forced the knock-on in the tackle, and then managed to get their line chase, their kick chase in place enough to stop the dangerous threat of the USA counter-attack.
This battle on this side of the scrum will be interesting. Jamie Batty up against Paul Mullen, the former Munster tight head. Play on, says the ref. Taken up by Ferguson to Horne. Horne to Hastings. Hastings drills it. And the covers there. Longer ball down to Hastings covering. Takes it on up that right-hand side. The long kick. Young Adam Hastings. And this is McGinty. AJ McGinty, right-footed. Playing a game of blink here, I think. See who kicks or runs first.
Yeah, the backfield coverage of both sides is pretty good so far. As Stuart Hogg goes the aerial route. Again, McGinty is comfortable under that high ball. Is a good all-round player, AJ McGinty. A very
you rate him, don't you? You think he's a good player?
Yeah, he's very, very calming influence.
You can tell, despite that first try, the US a different prospect than Canada. Better conditioned and a little bit more planned. You can hear the crowd shouting USA, USA. Taken by McGuigan. Just heads off to his right-hand side, makes ground, has Hamilton with him, and has Swinson. Horne looks up, lots of bodies to his left. Toulis tries to offload, it's a bit loose, but it looks as though Batty's got it, and Scotland very much in command at the moment. Horne takes it up. Hastings comes in at 9. Hastings looked to his left, gives it to the young, well, he was sensational last week, wasn't he? But he got a clatter there, Carmichael.
And Scotland are playing at a tempo. This is the first ruck that's been a little bit slower. It looks as if they're trying to set their stall out early and try and tire the front five of the USA. They're maybe not used to playing at such a tempo. The Scottish guys really are. That's in their DNA at the moment.
Kicked on, taken by Will Hooley, former England under-20 player. Actually played an under-20s English team, the fullback, that beat the USA 109-0. Penalty to the USA.
Yeah, it's that penalty, I think. Not releasing the tackle or off their feet in and around the breakdown is It was Sean Davis, I think, that was involved with the catch, and then AJ McGinty took it on thereafter. It was interesting to see George Horn went to the box just a little bit too long, and it allowed the catch to be taken, and then I think it was just over-eagerness at the breakdown for Scotland to try and get their hands on the ball. As you see, the low tackle comes in from Peter Horn, a really good kick chase. Adam Hastings is there, and you've got Matt Fagerson and George Turner as well. It doesn't look a lot wrong with that there, but I think then Fagerson just, as soon as he loses his body weight forward, he has to release the tackle.
One by the US, back down goes Sean Davis. Very good little scrum half. Savita is blocking, and Taufa Ete plays it up to the big number 1. Eric Fry plays his pro rugby in France for Vannes. Up come, oh, here's the man I've been looking forward to seeing him play, actually, Lasiki, because some of the video stuff is frankly scary. People are being knocked out tackling him. Again, the US have ball, left to right. AJ McGinty dancing, taken by Tulis. Hermeses Rux. They go left. The big men get involved. John Quill, as I said, the former Irishman, picked up by Grigg, the Scots have. Kinghorn's in, Batty 2.
Just advantage knock-off.
Picked up by Hamilton. Hamilton gives it up. This is Fagerson. Fagerson they tried to strip him, Scotland have. Stuart Hogg. Hogg, looser ball, picked up this time by Blaine Scully. Scully's a flyer. In comes Davis. Davis to, well, this is another man. Samu Manoa, born in California, 6'7", 127 kgs. The US playing advantage. Longer ball out to that right-hand side as we see it. Grigg is in there. That's a bit of a rammy. And it's advantage still to the US.
It's scrappy, it's quick, isn't it? It's really scrappy. And the USA go there now. It's Will Hoover with a high ball. Advantage is over.
McGuigan knocked it on. McGuigan knocked it on. They still have the US. Horn intercepts.
Lost forward, high tackle.
This is a game.
Well done, Wayne Barnes.
No problem, just a high tackle.
There's so much going on. There's so many turnovers in possession. There's knock-ons. There's advantages. There's advantage over. And it's played at a frantic pace. Wrongly, I said that, you know, maybe the USA weren't used to playing at this pace. As soon as they've got the ball, they've kept the tempo up as well. Excellent start for opening 15 minutes.
And you know, last week we talked about how badly conditioned the Canadians were. The US Eagles look conditioned.
Oh yeah, yeah. These guys are the real deal. And interesting, that first penalty as well. They've gone to the kick to the corner. They turned in an opportunity to kick at goal. And we'll see if they've got a driving maul that will be a threat to Scotland here.
Here we go. Taken by Savetta. Savetta to Manoa round that right-hand side. They didn't drive it. They had a bit of a move. They scored from that move against an Argentine 15. Sean Davis looks up, gives it to Taufetti. Good tackling. Taufetti still getting through. Big, strong hooker. USA piling on the pressure. Civetta's there. Civetta pick and go. Penalty advantage to the US team. This is a different prospect, this game. You can tell the Americans loose pass, though. They'll take the penalty.
Come back. 6 offside.
Yeah, 6 offside. You can hear Wayne Barnes.
First guard offside.
Yeah, the guard offside. It's just the pressure that Scotland are trying to get off their defensive line quickly, because you can't let these guys get a head of steam up. You saw Taufetti, the hooker there, being hit really hard in the tackle by Xander Fagerson, who is a big tackler, but he still managed to hold his feet, steal 1 or 2 more yards and get in behind your defensive line. So Scotland are eager to get up quickly, shut them down, but they were over-eager there, offside, and AJ McGinty this time is going to have a shot at goal.
Well, Scotland haven't really been out their half.
Space, okay.
For the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And McGinty has a chance to put the US on the board. You were saying before the game you think it's the narrow pitch, but that doesn't seem to be having a huge effect. Grass pitch, 30 degrees.
Yeah, it's I read somewhere that it was quite a narrow pitch, which doesn't necessarily suit Scotland. They like to play an attack space. Obviously the opening try in the first 2 minutes was an example of that, and how accurate and how efficient they were.
Are you back with us yet?
And when you're playing a big physical side, the spaces between the defenders on the narrow pitch are obviously smaller, so we'll see how that plays out. But at the moment, this would be a good reward for the USA's start if they can get the 3 points here.
AJ McGinty. And the USA are on the scoreboard. They deserve it. They have put a lot of pressure on the Scots. 7-3. And the early try was key, but the US looking dangerous, looking
very
powerful.
Dangerous. Very dangerous. Good set up of the slow ball. They're dangerous. They're trying to play quickly when they can. But I think Scotland will be happy only to concede 3 there. They were under a lot of pressure, and 2 or 3 good defensive sets kept them, you know, well, to 3 points rather than 7, in all honesty, and they'll be looking to try and win the possession back as quick as possible.
Kinghorn sent to chase that one, knocked on possibly by him, taken by Will Hooley. Hooley to McGinty. What a break by AJ McGinty. Looks just. Jay had that man inside him. He had Davis inside him. Horn takes the tackle after the whistle had gone, and McGinty looking good.
Just looked as if the ball slipped out of his hands, didn't it? He did the hard work. Really good decision by AJ McGinty. The kick was an excellent kickoff from Stuart Hogg, well challenged by Blair Kinghorn, but it was knocked forward. And it is an example of a good decision and a good rugby side. They didn't automatically just boot the ball and kick.
Confidence.
It was confident. They realised that Scotland's defence was sliding a little bit. AJ McGinty went through the middle, and Scotland would have been in trouble if he'd gotten that pass away to Sean Davis supporting on the inside.
Crouch.
Yeah, the Ferguson and Horn brothers all play for the Warriors. They become the 48th and 49th brothers to play for Scotland. The 8th time that 2 sets of brothers have been on the field at the same time.
Yes, George, please.
Ferguson to Horn, Horn to Hogg. Hogg is brought to ground by the big man, Lasike, and he's then thumped to ground. And they're out wide. Horn thinks about giving it to Hamilton. Hamilton takes again. He's knocked back. They're tackling low. The US Horn been very efficient so far. He's been impressive. Swinson is supported by Turner.
Advantage.
Penalty advantage to the Scots. Horn's playing well, gives it to his brother. His brother then loops round. It was a bit of an offside, and back they go for the advantage. George Horn's playing well.
He is. He's a lot of possession, and he's very comfortable. He's challenging the first defenders in and around the breakdown. He's whipping the ball away well. Interestingly, Stuart Hogg's been at first receiver often. Peter Horn's been at first receiver often as well. So they're mixing that up. Adam Hastings had 1 or 2 really good touches, but he's not been at first receiver all that often. They're sharing the workload and sharing the point of attack.
Pitch looks good, 30 degrees, Houston. Stadium built in the Hispanic area of the city. It's where the football team plays, the MLS team. And a very popular stadium it is too. Turner looking a bit bemused, shaking his head. This won't be an easy one. Kinghorn then with a chance to get some more points on the board, and that bench will be used because they'll be sapped in energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep mentioning the temperature, the humidity as well, and the physical nature of this test match. As you see, Blair Kinghorn line up a wonderful conversion early doors, wasn't it, from the right hand touchline. He's a long range specialist for Edinburgh, Blair Kinghorn. Kicks it a long way, and he'll be hoping to slot this one down the middle as well.
Well, Kinghorn just missed that one, and I don't know if you noticed, but when we saw the bench, we'll maybe see them again, and the same as in Japan, a lot of sticky tape on the fingers just to help compete with the humidity. Yeah, the slippy ball.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of players often now they have tape on their fingers to stop the ball slipping. I've got Gregor Townsend being interviewed as a water break. I'm not sure if I can hear him or not.
They've played as a team. They've got some very good individuals as well, and you're right, they're full of confidence. So we have a challenge of playing this Eagles team, but also in the conditions, which are a little bit different than Scotland.
And what areas of play are you looking for improvement in from last week?
Oh, look, I think all aspects we want to get 10 to 20% better. It was a good first head out. It was a new team. I think we'd had 14 changes from the last game we played in the Six Nations. There's another 12 changes tonight. So there will be times when we make mistakes, but the general work rate was good. I think if we can just do more after the tackle, I think we defended pretty well. We want to make sure that ball is slow. We want to win that ball back around the tackle area.
Thank you for your time, Gregor. Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Do you know these water breaks, they'll never catch on in Scotland, will they? We don't have the weather for this.
It's good to hear Gregor. Obviously recorded pre-match that wee chat, but it's great to get the insight, isn't it? So one of the key things they were looking to improve from last week was in and around the defence. So winning the ball back quickly, putting a lot of pressure on and trying to slow the opposition ball down. I'm going to say the essential water break. So yeah, the tape on the fingers helps with, you know, keeping hold of the ball when it's so slippery. There's so much sweat in your hands. The players used to wear gloves, but they seem to be out of fashion now, and the tape can help with that. We were talking about before the interview we heard with Gregor. But the Blair Kevin were disappointed with that one. Just slid, I think, to the left-hand side of the post. It was a good time just before a break to wrestle the momentum of the game back after going 7-0 early on, and then McGinty kicking the penalty. So 7 points to 3, Scotland lead.
So, you know, we talked about the inexperience of George Horne and Adam Hastings. They've played together 5 times this year for Glasgow. And the USA, interesting, they've qualified for every World Cup apart from 1995. Here's one of the Ferguson brothers smashing up. Again, Horne is there, skips out Tullis. Hastings just moves it, but he's got a good pass. Hogg spins out the first tackle just as well. And this time, again, the forwards charging up. Horne looks up, gives it to his brother Peter. Peter pulls it back in to Adam Hastings. Delicate chip long into the USA territory. That's gone touch in goal, I think, and it will be a scrum back. Ooh. Must have just gone that side of the post or over the post. Crowd don't like it. Come on.
There's a really good option by Adam Hastings. The USA defence was up. It was on their feet. They were putting a lot of pressure on. The ball bubbled out the breakdown pretty quickly, and Adam Hastings in that second receiver position as well knew the USA defence were up and pushed that kick through, which bounced favourably for Scotland.
Short line out taken quickly. Cam Dolan, the number 8. The US under pressure. 21 minutes gone, driving the Scots up the field. And Scotland have a bit more territory. Sean Davis, the 9, looks up, takes it onto his right foot. He gets a block from Kermasays. And the Scots will regroup. And it'll be a line out.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's a good option, as I say, by Adam Hastings. And then there's a lot of pressure on the exit.
Speeding things up. George Horne. Horne to Hastings. That was nearly red as well. Hogg gets past Lasike, gives it to Peter Horne. Delicate chip from him, left-footed. Back goes Will Hooley. Hooley will watch it go over the line. It'll be a 22.
I just wondered if there was a message came on at that water break about kicking more. We saw the opening 15-20 minutes. It was frantic. It was great to watch, but never put bootsy ball very often in Scotland. And in the first 2 opportunities they've had, I realised that was a bouncing ball that didn't go to hand from the set piece attack, but they've looked to put it through and just force the pressure back onto the USA. So I wonder if that was a message during the water break.
McGinty long to Hastings. Hastings to Ferguson. Ferguson tucks the wall. Crikey. Runs right into Taufetti, who does his best to smash him back. And the Scots have. Horne to Jamie Batty. The American tackling is much better than the Canadian tackling. Horne again to Hastings. Hastings, you're right. They've been told to kick much more often. On to Braca. Braca takes, wrapped up by Swinson. And blocking, penalty to the Scots.
Whistle's gone, fellas. Whistle's gone. Whistle gone. You're fine, 11, but number 8's obstructed.
Yeah, Marcel Braca took a nice high ball, but it was unfair because the Scottish chasing the defenders couldn't compete in there. They were blocked. Was it that man Savetta on your screen that was penalised? It's a good option again by Adam Hastings. Really good game management. Scotland hadn't made a lot of ground. They'd been hit physically. Matt Ferguson driven back. So rather than trying to force the game, he put a good contestable kick up in the air. Scotland win the penalty and then can launch from this line out deep in the USA territory.
Captain Stuart Hogg with a kick. It's early days, but I don't think the Scots are enjoying the conditions. Just looks as though they look as though they're a bit hot, a bit bothered. Turner quickly in. The USA don't go in. Driven back. Good drive by the US.
And that's once,
And
George.
it's Ferguson at the back there. This is Turner. Turner gives it to Hastings. Hastings lays it on to Grigg. Grigg just with that punishing little run that he can produce. Horn looks up. Hastings wants it. Hastings gives the inside ball to Hamilton. Scotland much better. Horn has. Horn looks up, gives it to Ferguson. Ferguson runs into a wall of white jerseys. Hamilton again. They are tackling for keeps. Horn wants it to his right. Oh, Peter Horn back inside to his brother. And that is a high tackle. That's not a good tackle. The two brothers in concert, and Horn almost had his head taken off.
Well, it's great to see that George Horn is okay in that, because that was a high shot. There was force on it. Wayne Barnes is going to have a look at it. We'll see what he's going to ask for just now.
I'm pretty certain we're talking penalty try and yellow card against White 4. Just want to double check, please.
I don't know if you heard that at home. He says he's talking about a possible penalty try. And a definite yellow card, did he say?
There's no contact allowed at all with the head or neck. And it was certainly high. It was a spearing tackle as it came back. George Horn doing what he does so well, supporting. There's the tackle there. There is contact with the head. Would he have made the line? Will Hooley's obviously behind Manoa, the number 4.
That's not
it's
a great
for Wayne Barnes to decipher.
Got anything else than that? Say again?
Well, Wayne Barnes is saying it's not a great angle.
Yeah, if you got something from behind would be good.
I think he's wanting to know if a try would probably have been scored.
It's Will Hooley, the number 15, that's going to make this decision, or is going to determine the decision. That's high for me, and that's a yellow card.
A high tackle over the shoulder, close to the goal line. He's probably going to score.
My only concern is if it was another player next to him, or maybe make the tackle.
Yeah,
I'd just like to see
we've got to be neutral, but there was another defender. There was another defender coming across that might have tackled him.
Well, Hooley's in front of George Horn. There's no doubt it's a high tackle from Simon Manoa. Actually, did George Horn place it?
Angles.
He placed the ball against the base of the
If we can
path.
slow it down
that's
on
a
the
try
point of
anyway.
contact, so I can just make sure where the point of contact is. Thank you.
Between Barnes and Federico Anselmi. Have a look at George Horn. Does he place this immediately against the ball, the base of the pad? Can't tell from that angle.
I would like to see it again. I'd like to slow down on the point of contact, please.
Well, Wayne Barnes is certainly wanting to check this. And this is the final pass
Okay, we also need to speak
from
to
Peter Horn to his brother George. Here's the high tackle coming in from the right-hand side. There it is. Not sure what he's wanting from this. It's definitely a high tackle. There was another defender.
People walking around on the screen. We haven't seen anything yet.
I assume.
Okay, we're not able to get a view on the screen, David.
I think Wayne Barnes is saying he can't see the big screen for people walking around in front of it in the stadium.
So if he's not seen the pictures that we're seeing, then.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a high tackle by White 4.
Yeah.
We've got another view just coming up now.
Well, he knows there's a high tackle by White 4. And so he's taking his time. Wayne Barnes, Mike Blair's offer his opinion.
We've got a high tackle by White 4, stopping a potential try-scoring opportunity. Does anyone disagree with that? I think it's going to be a probable try, isn't it? Simon? It's going to be a penalty try, Stuart. Yeah. Mate, he's going to score a try and you've tackled it. He's going to tackle him high, so it's a penalty try and you go to the bin.
Okay, there we go. There's the decision. It's a penalty try. This huge man, Samu Manoa, born in California, he goes into the sin bin, and Scotland get their second try.
It was the Horn brothers in tandem, wasn't it?
No,
there was
a high tackle,
a really good
try.
line as well. Listen to Wayne Barnes again, just confirming that it was a high tackle and it's a probable try being scored. He didn't seem 100% convinced, Wayne Barnes, But Nick Grigg hit a lovely line off the initial phase, well tackled by A.J. McGinty. Scotland worked the ball really, really well, and it was Peter Horn who broke through. We highlighted George Horn's ability to support pre-match, and he was in there, he got the ball back.
I mean, that's what he does, doesn't he? George Horn's always on people's shoulders, isn't he? He'll follow up,
it's a role of a 9.
With a break.
It's a role of a 9 often, obviously pass and support, look for a second touch. He works really hard in his inside channels. The man on your screen, Manoa, it was a high tackle. It deserves a yellow card. Whether he would have made the line or not with Will Hula in front of him, we do not know, but the penalty try has been awarded.
A.J. McGinty kicks off. Interestingly, 4 of the 5 past games with Wayne Barnes refereeing Scotland have had a forward sent to the sin bin. This time it's the US. Taken on by Turner. Horn gives it to his brother Peter. You're right, there's sometimes sheltering Adam Hastings, so the first receiver is often a taker like that. Good pass to McGinty. McGinty does well. He's blocked up by Lasike. The US have it. Quickly off the line is George Horn. Up goes the big number 8, Cam Dolan. Specialises in interceptions. This is A.J. McGinty. Runs into Hastings. Wrapped up instead by Swinson. Again, the US just outside the Scottish 22. This abrasive number 2, Taufa Joe Taufa penalty advantage. They're sending a shooter up, aren't they? A very quick attack, a good interception by Adam Hastings. They'll come back for the penalty.
Sorry, number 7.
Yeah, it's number 7 offside. It was 6 the last time, 7 this time, and that'll frustrate Scotland's defence coach Matt Taylor and head coach Gregor Townsend. Just too eager. It's great to see that they want to get off the line and get up and shut the USA down.
I don't
know. Too eager.
They're certainly sending a flyer up, and sometimes you get a referee thinks that's the person offside because one person's coming up more quickly. We need to see it again.
Yeah, Luke Hamilton, he's an abrasive number 7. He's a good tackle. We'll have another look. The penalty had already been given here.
Take on board what you said.
I think it's the assister, and he's never really
and you can see that George Turner's up, putting the pressure on as well. Interestingly, A.J. McGinty's carried quite often because of that shooter, that one man coming out defensive line, shutting off the pass, turning the number 10 inside, which means the ball player, the number 10, is being tackled, he's being hit, and he's been at the bottom of the ruck. So the next time the ball comes out, there's not such a great clarity and form of and sense of the attack. So it's good play by Scotland. They just have to keep that discipline and stay on side.
McGinty, good kicker. Won the Pro 12. And as we've seen this evening, he can break as well. McGinty then looking for another 3 points. He gets them. Local crowd happy. He runs back into position. And the USA just pegging the Scots back.
Sure their run's better. Hold your run, fellas.
Yeah, there's a lot of communication between Wayne Barnes and his assistants. Shuhei Kubo, who was the referee last week in Canada, and Federica Anselmi. So they're working as a team, they're working as a unit. I think there's a lot of kind of either offsides or handling at the breakdown going on. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on the, I suppose, the discipline in and around the contact area.
Knock on. Knock on.
It's going to be, you know, we discussed it lots, the future of USA Rugby. They've started, I think everyone's heard of this MLS, Major League Soccer. They've started MLR, which is an 8-team professional USA Rugby League of rugby teams this year. They've played 6 games. And many of these players we're seeing are actually from other countries. They're trying to develop the game, and I think everyone would acknowledge that if they can harness their sevens prowess, their American football prowess, they would be one of the great teams, wouldn't they?
Well, they've got an athletic nation. They've got wonderful facilities. They're naturally aggressive. There's an opportunity to link to, as you say, other American sports. Sevens is a big part of the Olympics now, which is a big part of American culture as well. So they've got the base, and see how they develop their 15s team.
George is told to move it on, gives it to his brother Peter. Peter does well. Oh, he nearly laid that off inside to his little brother again. Good play from the 2 Horn brothers. The USA has, this is the wrecking ball. That's a bit of an adventurous take, taken by Fagerson. Fagerson runs into 3 white jerseys. The whistle goes again.
Yeah, it was a knock on. Black. I think there was something happening off the ball as well. That was concerning Wayne Barnes, who were coming back for the first knock on. George Horn holds his hand up, but he's so effective, that inside support runner, isn't he? Running hard, and it was good
Peter Horn actually found space again, came back against the sliding defence and tried to get his hands free. And the knock on. And it'll be the
one of the great things about Peter Horn is he is abrasive, and he makes the gain line, and he tackles, and he likes the rough stuff. He's a bloke who doesn't look big, but he's as physically capable as any of these centres.
And he's desperately skillful as well, so he brings that physicality, that edge, and as you can see there, fighting to get his hands free, to challenge the defence. For Sadamano in the bin for the USA, so Fasiki's coming on from the midfield to join the back of the scrum to make it 8 on 8. So we'll probably see I assume we'd see a kick here from the USA. It means one of their backline chasers going to be coming off the scrum, so there could be space if the ball doesn't go off the field for Scotland to counter-attack into.
It's been an absorbing first half hour. McGinty breaking well. That's AJ McGinty gives it to this is the number 6. What a player he is to John Quill. They make a few more yards. Davis looks up, gives it back to McGinty, sends Scotland back down the pitch, and that's a good piece of play.
It's not a bad piece of play. Good break. Again, a second time that he senses Scotland are too eager to get out to the wide channels, and he just almost dummy kicked, stepped back inside, and then managed this time to get his hands free and the ball away in the tackle. And then because Scotland were scrambling, he knew the space was in behind. That's really clever play for the number 10.
Hey, what are you doing? Get on the line. Get on the line. Eric.
Short a line out. Tillis goes forward, leaves it though for Swinson, and the Scots have taken by George Turner at number 2. George Horn has. Kinghorn is sent to chase. High into the evening humid sky it goes. Kinghorn got it back and bounced it back, and the Scots still have. Again, it's Fagerson and Horn. Quite a few of these US players are offside too. Hastings has looked very balanced this evening, gives it straight down the neck of Blaine Scully. We know he can fly. He's a former swimmer, former water polo player for his university. Penalty to Scotland.
Yeah, and it was Peter Horn, that tackle again on Blaine Scully. It was a poor kick that time by Adam Hastings. Blaine Scully had sat back, he'd read it, and then Peter Horn recognised that, got off the line really quickly, made the tackle, and then Blaine Scully didn't release before he got back to his feet, and Scotland win the penalty.
Do you know, only 5 of these Scots are in double figures in terms of caps. The other 10 have only 26 between them. It is, as Andy Nicholl was saying, the excitement about tonight is seeing the future up against a pretty well-drilled and well-honed USA team.
We saw it last week, and we were so impressed by the 4 debutants last week who not only came in and played the first game for Scotland, but actually played really well and fitted into the system and continued the surge that Scotland are on. That's a fantastic kick by the most experienced guy in the park, Stuart Hogg, from his own half, deep into the USA 22, and see if the forwards can win the possessions.
Taken by Tulis. Oh, they break off this short hand side. They're rucking away. That's been brought down. That could be a penalty, and it's down the short side. Is that Carmichael, or no? It's the try-scoring machine of Turner. George Turner, 3. You can see the smile on his face. 3 tries last week, and he gets Scotland's 3rd try of the evening. 1 try from Kinghorn, a penalty try. Then the hooker. What's he got? What's he doing?
He's filling his boots with tries, George Turner. You could see it was almost deja vu, wasn't it? A good throw, an excellent kick to start with, the save from Stuart Hogg. A good throw, and then that aggressive, fast drive. The maul was brought to deck illegally, and then it wasn't the rolling maul that made it over the line this week for George Horn. It was a pick and go. So there it is, the maul working really quickly, peeling round the front. Just short of the line there, and if you watch number 2, George Turner picks up, goes through the legs of John Quill, I think it is, and scores his try. Good awareness. That's his 4th try. In a week.
The good thing about that was the maul broke off, didn't it? It didn't do what they would have expected. Watch this. Tulis takes.
Well, they drove to the front.
Get the ball, then they go straight to the left, and it's the ball carrier at the front carrying. You can do that. Good score.
Yeah, they sheared up the front, and then just this kind of awareness of George Turner to know that It is John Quill, isn't it? That he's the only one marking that short side, and he goes through his legs. But really good decision, really good execution, and it's another try from that the source coming from the maul that we saw so effective last week against Canada.
What's happening with the clock?
Yeah, you know, the USA they're undefeated. They've beaten the Argentine 15, the Canadians, Chile, Brazil, Uruguay, Russia. Scored 60 points or more twice. And the Scots are doing a job, Chris Patterson. Blair Kinghorn then with the conversion, left-hand side. Difficult kick. He makes it look very, very easy. And Scotland looking, if not dominant, certainly in control of what they're doing.
Yeah, 3 scores or 2 tries and 1 penalty try. And they've weathered a bit of the storm as well, Scotland. And if you think back to the source of that try was the penalty. Peter Horn, who's been very good with ball in hand. It was him that made the tackle, forced the penalty from Blaine Scully. Then it's just good execution. Stuart Hogg with a really good kick. George Turner a really good throw, a good decision and a call at line out. Well manufactured, well executed. And it's another 7 points for Scotland.
Ferguson secure, does well. Oh, just lost the ball going forward. Paul Mullen, again the second row, and then there's Taufetti. Taufetti does well too. Carmichael is driven over. McGinty has a bit of width outside him, and here's a Blaine Scully. Scully comes inside, tackled by Grigg. They do that, I watched them in the videos, they make an extra couple of meters on the ground, the US players. Good tackling again. A bit of it's very, very good play by the US, this. Counter-attack, counter-rucking by Adam Hastings. He's the number 8, Cam Dolan. He talked about having a hard youth. Rugby saved him from his hard youth. McGinty doesn't get bought by the tackle by Hamilton. Hamilton brings him down. Taufetti is just what the US are just 2 or 3 meters short. This is the first bit of concerted pressure from the US. Civetta wants. Picked up instead by Fry. Eric Fry, they're a yard out the US. Civetta looks for the post. If he just gets into the post, it's a try. This is the man spinning, and that is Taufetti. And Taufetti has the try, and that's a try the US have deserved. They've had pressure on the Scots, and the big hooker crosses the whitewash. Touchdown in Houston.
Yeah, he's made a bit of damage, hasn't he, Taufetti? We've seen him carry ball in the opening half time and time again. He's broken almost every tackle is contested, and that time there it was just concerted pressure, wasn't it? Scotland were brave in defence, but it's the power and the physicality with the big ball carriers for the USA that buy them that yard, that extra half yard every contact, and then the cumulative total is Taufetti smashing over under the sticks for the US first try of the evening.
It was the spin that did it. It was the spin that did it. He spun right round outside Swinson.
Yeah. Tim Swinson is arguably just too narrow to the ruck. If he's half a metre wide, it almost forces the attacker to go inside, so you know he's going there, and you can get a decent contact in him. But let's not take it away from Taufetti. His footwork, the power, the precision, the spin, and the composure to score.
You can see the difference in build.
It's a lot better on a kick-off.
The US players are very well developed compared to the Canadians. The Scots now a minute and a half to get to half-time. Try and get some more points on the board. Stuart Hogg's had a good game. George Horn playing well. The US, different kettle of fish.
Taufetti scored 2 tries last week against Russia as well. As Brachy carries back from the long kickoff from Stuart Hogg. Setting up to kick.
Yeah, there's the big deep block. Big, long, deep block. You'll never get there. Ooh, Davis gives it instead to McGinty. McGinty with a low flyer. And Adam Hastings just watches it go into touch.
Well, interesting. What the USA, what a lot of teams try and do there is make the ruck as long as possible, so the scrum half who's kicking from the base is further away from the potential charge down. And then to set that up and then hit the 10 to clear was unusual. We're having a look at AJ McGinty maybe being hit a little bit late, but we're back in play.
Hastings takes it up, gives it to Grigg. Grigg is smashed back a bit in contact by the number 7, Germaseys, Hanko Germaseys, the South African-born player. Scotland take it up. Taken on by Carmichael. Carmichael moves forward. Horn again moving. Dolan thinks the ball's out. Hastings pulls it back to Grigg. Grigg is chopped down by Dolan. And Scotland again. Horn to Fagerson. Sweaty hands. It went. Did it go forward? Referee says no. Hastings gets a really hard one.
Penalty kick.
A penalty coming Scotland's way. Longer ball out to McGuigan. He's hardly touched the ball. Here he is, McGuigan. McGuigan is tackled. Taufeti's injured in the background. Scotland are a man up. Hastings with a little chip through. Who's chasing? It's taken instead by Will Hooley. They'll come back for the penalty.
Yeah, it's an offside penalty, but it looked like a pretty high tackle again from Fasiki in the midfield. That's Taufeti getting
what number?
a little bit of treatment on his shoulder. And listen to Wayne Barnes again.
12.
He's going for a 12. Is he going to have a look at the tackle? I'm not sure.
12 offside. That made the tackle.
It's 12. It was offside. Physical, isn't it?
Yeah,
and Scotland are being met in the tackle by the US, but they're trying to move the ball to the edge. Peter Horn through a wider pass because there's not a lot of space in and around the contact, in and around the first two channels because of that. American defence is so physical.
Just never on.
And that one happened over there when they dropped it, when it fumbled out.
Do you know what? Until you shouted at me, I think you're probably right. The ball came out, so there was nothing formed. I think you're right. Yeah. It did make me double check though.
Oh, Cam Dolan. Never argue with the man in the middle.
Not when he's a barrister either.
Yeah.
He's a good referee, Wade Barnes, for me.
Minutes, everyone?
He's such a great communicator with the players. There's a wry smile on his face as well.
Yeah, I'd urge anybody to have a look at Paul Lasike's highlights on YouTube. I mean, he really tackles for keeps, and even when he carries the ball, he can make people sit down.
He does. It's all or nothing when it comes to tackling. He launches off his feet, he drives with the shoulder. Now that is, it's dangerous, but it's also quite easy as an attacker if you can attack either side of him.
Kinghorn then looking for 3 more points. Ooh, very low, hard kick. Good kick it is too. And that is the half-time score. And the score, USA 13, Scotland 24. They'll be happy at half-time.
Story of the first half, it was wonderful for Scotland. An amazing start from them. They got right off the mark. Stuart Hogg, sensational. Blair Kinghorn with it on a plate. And of course, they got a penalty try as well. George Horn was going to go in under the post. Penalty try and yellow card. Then George Turner, the try machine, got in on the 28th minute. But Taufeti got under the post on the 37th. It means the score at half-time is 13-24. John Beattie and Chris Patterson will take you through it.
Thank you, Dougie. Scotland in possession. Still a hot, sweaty evening, getting darker in Houston. Taken up by the try-scoring sensation. It is George Turner at hooker. Horn back to Hogg. Hogg uses that spiral kick. It travels a mile, doesn't it? Back to Will Hooley. And Hooley, he kicks 2, taken again by Hogg. And Hogg this time with an up and over kick. Longer. Dips on to AJ McGinty. I think they're both playing a bit safe here. Look at the crowd, quite a decent crowd here, and that's gone straight out, and that's why you kick, isn't it? Someone makes a mistake, you get the line out.
Yeah, you're just looking for that, applying the pressure. I thought Will Hooley kicked too early. There was a good maybe 25 or 30 metres of space ahead of him. He decided to kick. And then when it came back to Stuart Hogg, he returned it, and AJ McGinty kicked out in the full. That gives Scotland the chance to launch early on this second half.
Beyond 15.
Ooh, and Scotland just got that one read this time by Samu Manoa. Taken up by Joe Taufeti. He's already got that one try. Scots looked a little bit offside. And then McGinty through the gap again. Hastings is just brushed off. A good counter-attacking by the Scots. Offside, says Wayne Barnes.
For a high tackle, I think, as well. Luke Hamilton. Yeah, he called it right away. It was just a little bit high from Luke Hamilton, but it wasn't a huge amount of force, so it's a penalty only. We might have another look at it. I'm not sure, we see McGinty challenging the line again. Matt Fagerson did really well to chase over and make the tackle.
Yeah, no worries.
The high tackle was just before that. And there's no advantage. A good counter ruck from Fagerson. No advantage. That's another good kick to McGinty.
Good kick. The USA then will have a line out just, what, 7-8 metres out from the Scottish try line. McGinty gives his orders. The interesting thing about that Scottish try from the maul was they kept the ball at the front, and therefore they could break off and go down the short side. Taufetti. 2 pods of 3 to pick. They come into the middle, taken by Civetta, the big number 5. Civetta, 6'8". I think he's been at Newcastle, been in a few teams, and there's a Scot on the ground there, needs to be careful, or it'll be a penalty. America then making ground. They have momentum, it's been taken down, it's a penalty. Taufetti around the corner. Oh, Taufetti, what a score! Oh my goodness, that is power. That is abrasion, the second try from the hooker. Alarm bells among those Scottish players.
Well, he scored 2 last week, Joe Taufetti. He's got his second so far this evening. He's similar in many ways to his first. He's so powerful. The initial contact, the initial tackle that comes in is a big hit, but he manages to ride that, drive his legs through, and then drives to another tackle, stretches out to score the try. The Maul's moving forward, there's a penalty advantage, he's been pulled down illegally, and then from a standing start he manages to bash through Turner and Hamilton, and George Horn hangs on. Xander Fagerson has a shot, no one can stop him.
Do you know, in the immortal words of, he had a lot to do, and he got through, what, 4 Scots, 2 Scots missed him, and then 2 were hanging on to him as he went over the line. Good try.
And it's from a standing start off the back of the ball. It's not a run up, he's not carrying momentum into the ball carry. He's almost going backwards initially, and then it just shows you that the initial contact from the defender is good, but that wrap has to then come, and it has to be a good wrap against someone like Joe Taufetti, because he has the power, he has the width to bash through it and get through and fight through, and a bit of a composure as well to slam the ball over the line.
It was the perfect start in the first half for Scotland. This is the perfect start to the second half for the USA Eagles. McGinty then, McGinty sends it, does he? He does, sends it between the posts. Touch judges' flags are up. We have a game, 4-point difference.
He's been a threat, hasn't he? All in his line-out, his set pieces been good, his line-out throws been good, but it's been destructive in the loose. Made some big collisions. We saw him getting a bit of treatment on his shoulder earlier on. He's obviously had a bit more treatment at half-time because he started the second half with a bang. Tackle in the air.
Yep, in the air.
Yeah, it's just too eager, too early from Blair King. Almost looked as if he delayed the tackle initially, almost hoping that Brackey was going to hit the ground, and then just came in just a fraction of a second too early. Tackle in there, and it's an easy out for the USA.
Yeah, Taufetti was born in California, played for the Worcester Warriors. Big, strong player that he is too. And you just can't, well, Kinghorn just, he couldn't pull out. Well, he was committed.
Yeah, so it was Hooley that was in there. He got up well, didn't he? And he almost hung in the air there. And as soon as you're in there, you have all the rights. Any contact at all, there'll be a penalty against that, the contact.
US, here's your man, the one-man wrecking ball that is Paul Lasike, the big Kiwi taken on by Taufetti. The US much better now, and they come down this left-hand side again. Lasike, Sean Davis, they're in a bit of a groove, taken up by Manoa. Davis looks and complains. They've got a penalty. It's all the USA Eagles.
It's a wee bit desperation from Luke Hamilton. Wayne Barnes is explaining it was his second attempt to go for the ball. He was fine initially, he was cleared out, but then he went back with his hands in the ruck. You can't use your hands in the ruck, and it's a really good start to the second half by the USA. They've got the ball carriers, the big ball carriers running onto the ball, causing the Scottish defence a lot of trouble. And even though they're under trouble and make the tackles, they're then being a little bit indisciplined and they're into contact, Luke Hamilton will be frustrated with that, and it's just desperation trying to win the ball back. This is Manoa, getting hit hard by Xander Fagerson. He releases fine, there is fine, but then that's a second effort in the ruck. You can only use your hands once at the start.
AJ McGinty to bring it to a 1-point game. 24-20 the score. US, the momentum's shifted. Scotland were doing well first half. It's been all the USA this second half, with that try by Taufetti in his second try. McGinty then, he's got 4 out of 4. In the background, big Eric Fry looks on. There's a smiling Taufetti. Well, there's the view into the night sky in Houston. McGinty strokes it gently, and he bisects the posts. And the Americans are much better.
Well, they did this last week as well. They started the second half very, very well indeed. They brought more physicality, they were quicker in their attack, and they've certainly got the momentum shifted back towards them. It'll be interesting to see how Scotland cope with that and what they do. They need to get possession, they need to clean up their discipline and look after possession a bit better. They've not touched the ball in the second half and have already conceded 10 points.
Stuart Hogg sends it up again. Kinghorn chase taken by Marcel Braca. And Davis, this little scrum half, looks left to the big Irishman, Paul Mullen. And Davis again calls for the block. Batty tries to do some counter-attacking, tries to take Nick Civetta, and Davis chases. Hastings to Hogg. Hogg looks up McGuigan. McGuigan's not had much to do. It's been all the forwards. Here he goes. Good tackle by the USA Eagles. Horn looks. He's beavering away. Hogg trying to command. Again, he gets bashed back by Lasike, who's having one of those devastating little games. Horn sneaks through. Picked up by Toulis. Toulis driven by Jamie Batty. Horn again. Been very impressed by Horn to Fagerson. Yep. Slightly isolated. And they still have the Scots. Hastings takes it from right to left. It's shepherded out by Blaine Scully. Back to the fullback, Will Hooley. Hooley sends it down the pitch. Great game. Lots of different things to chew over. Stuart Hogg, ball in 2 hands, tries to go down that middle route. He's smothered by the white jerseys. Horn, he's got confidence, George Horn, pointing out to Batty. Batty runs into Manoa.
No.
Scotland could just do to move the ball one more pass. You can see how tight and strong the USA defence is, and there's Blair Kinghorn, wriggles free.
What a game he's having, Blair Kinghorn. He looks to his right, he's got Swinson if he needs him, taken down by Braca. Horn looks up, finds Swinson. Swinson gives it to Hogg. Momentum for the Scots to Grigg. Oh, Grigg is hammered. That's the strength of the tackling. That is the strength of the tackling. Great break by the Scots. Absolutely nailed by Lasike.
Yeah, it was Blair Kinghorn with a fantastic break. Just as I was saying, you need to maybe give an extra pass. It was the cut, it was a switch play, a little bit of deception. And then Blair Kinghorn wriggled free, had the power to get in behind, make 20 or 30 yards really well. Good handling from the Scots thereafter to get the ball on the edge. Stuart Hogg does really well here after Tim Swinson's tip on. And then if we watch Lasike there, just accelerates and throws himself. There was an attempt to wrap his arms, so it was a legal challenge. Nick Grigg bounces back and he's back in the field.
Yeah, McGinty with his left foot. What a game. Good game. Hogg in the middle of the pitch, as always. Ball in 2 hands, as always. Runs into his own man. Not usual. Not happy.
The American chase is very good, isn't it? There's not a lot of space. We've seen 2 or 3 times where Hogg and Kinghorn wriggled through there off the second or third phase, but from the initial kick chase, stop goes on. The kick chase from Americans is very good. Good low tackle as well. So it's almost as if Scotland either need to kick a little bit more, or maybe move the ball 1 or 2 passes wide, or shift that strong kind of middle unit of the defensive system a little bit wider.
I think he was saying to Matt Fagerson too, I don't want you in front of me. If I'm lip reading him correctly earlier on, I think he wants the players in front of him to get out of the way. But not sure you can blame Fagerson for standing his ground.
No, not really. See the bench, which we believe will make a difference. Luke Hamilton has been replaced. There's a lot of experience in Scotland's bench. We've spoken about how young and inexperienced the starting team is, but there's a lot of experience and a lot of ability on the bench as well. See, I assume it was Dave Denton we saw coming on for.
Looked like it
for Luke Hamilton.
Not on yet.
Not on yet. Certainly.
US ball.
Grant Gilchrist is stripped, ready to come on.
Looks like Fraser
Brown coming on in the back row. Now that
he was a back row player, wasn't he, Fraser Brown?
He was a back row player and he moved to hooker.
As did George Turner.
So is this a direct kind of ploy is to put more pressure on the breakdown, win the possession back. Remember when Gregor Townsend was interviewed before the game, we saw during the water break, he highlighted that area. One of Fraser Brown's biggest strength is how combative and competitive he is over the ball and around the breakdown.
But he was injured last week, wasn't he?
He had his rib
injury.
sternum. He's a tough lad, Fraser Brown, and he will make an impact. He's a great tackler, and it'll be interesting to see what he brings in around the breakdown.
Finely balanced game. Scots get the nudge. Oh, was that picked at the side? No, you can't do that. But referee hasn't seen it. Play on. The US. They've got Fry there as well. Taufetti is lurking with intent. Ball comes back the US side. Fry takes, runs straight into Swinson. Swinson has him bottled up. Manoa, and then that's McGinty. This is the wrecking ball. Is Lasike to the fullback. Hooley. The US are much better second half. They're making ground. And Adam Hastings, has he turned it all? He's been told to take these hands off the ball. This is Manoa. They've got a certain abrasion to them, haven't they? They've got some bulk. This is Fry. Fry, the French-based player. McGinty playing very close to gain line. Kick through, taken by Hogg. Hogg gives it up to Pete Horn. Pete Horn flings a long one to McGuigan. McGuigan left-footed, and he has sclaffed it, as you would say.
A couple of really nice pieces of skill. Samuel Manoa shifting the ball, such a big ball carrier. He shifted the ball just ever so slightly to get the USA attacking down the right-hand flank. And then after AJ McGinty's sort of kick through was half charged down, Stuart Hogg did a wonderful job of sliding forward with a greasy ball, picking up and flicking it away. I see Grant Gilchrist coming on for Lewis Carmichael. He'll bring a lot of experience as well. And a bit of grunt round the breakdown, big ball carrier, big heavy hitter. Grant Gilchrist, he'll look to make an impact as well.
Taken off the top, USA have it. McGinty, ooh, cool little ball inside to Blaine Scully. USA, what you would call in the van. Taken up this time by Nick Civetta. Back the other way they come to the number 6, John Quill. Quill makes that extra couple of meters. Still the USA have it. McGinty kept it late, and that's just lost forward by the big hooker, Taufetti. It'll be a scrum to Scotland.
It's his first mistake, isn't it? He got the ball quite late from McGinty, almost under the pressure of the tackle, and just couldn't keep a hold of it. But Scotland look understandably tired. The momentum's with America, and this is really good in a lot of ways for Scotland to deal with this. The young players.
It's a test.
It is a test, and it's really good for the players in the development to see how they cope with this, because they're up against it. The momentum's gone against them. USA have scored 10 points early in this second half. They're able to. They've been quite intricate with some of their attack, the USA. So it's great for Scotland to be in many ways. I think this is what the Scottish coaching staff would want. They want to see the guys under this pressure, see how they react, and hopefully come out on top.
Well, there we go. There's some fact-finding stuff for you. It's MLS Houston Dynamos. And yeah, the capacity is 22,000. The pitch width is 73 metres, 105 long. And we're not supplying these pictures, or else we wouldn't have this. For oh, there's a water break. Will there be a water break? No, it's not a water break. Ah, it's gone.
Looks bigger than 22,000. I'm surprised at that. More, I don't know. I'm not sure how many is there this evening, but it certainly looks like a bigger stadium than 22,000. Now, this is important for Scotland. They need to get possession. Since the second half started, they've not had possession or been able to control possession long enough to influence the game. Let's see how they go at the scrum.
Yeah, Scotland have won the last 5 matches against the USA, most recent of which came in 2015. Scotland won by 39 points to 16. Horn gives it width to Hastings. Hastings to McGuigan. McGuigan, again, I think it slightly comes off the side of his boot. And it's going to be a line out.
It was taken back. The scrum was outside the 22. And it was the right idea from Scotland. Obviously didn't want the ball to travel straight into touch. But they'd worked the kicking option, and they're looking for that kick to go long down the channel.
Struggling to get out of the territory, aren't they?
Just needing possession. Needing possession. But as I said before, this is a challenge that I think the coaching staff and the players will relish, and to see how they cope with it, because the Americans certainly have the momentum at the moment.
Go on then, get in then. They've got 5, haven't they?
Well, there's the man of the evening, Taufetti, 2 tries. Quickly down. Taken round the corner by Hancock Hermes Hayes. Good weight trainer, good strong rugby player. Davis gives it out. This time to the number 6, John Quill. Round the corner comes Taufeti. He loves contact, but that's a good tackle this time by Fraser Brown. That's doing exactly what you said he would do.
Taufeti still managed to wriggle free though.
And here's the number 12, Lasike, Paul Lasike, brilliant piano player, evidently. Can just pick up a piano. No, we won't pick up a piano.
I bet you could.
He'll take up the piano and play anything you want. A bit of a late hit there by the men in blue, and USA on the attack. McGuigan might well kick this ahead. Just that could have gone the other way. Taken up by, this is the really quick number 8, Cam Dolan, 6'6". He specialises in interceptions. And the USA have. Davis is there. This is a really absorbing game in terms of what's happening. Great little break by AJ McGinty. McGinty almost up to the Scottish 5-metre line. Davis looks up, gives it to the fullback. Will Hooley with a longer ball to Brackett. Brackett, who's playing his rugby in Australia for the Western Force. Davis, it's all the USA Eagles. It is all the USA Eagles. Ferguson with a tackle, brave one it was too. Dropped by Eric Fry, it went forward. It's Scotland have the ball. George Horne is being taken back, and the crowd can calm down a bit, as can we.
Oh, it's physical, isn't it? It's really good. Physical, hard stuff. Scotland are facing up well defensively. They're missing 1 or 2 tackles, but the physicality is there. They're getting in the line, and they're not contesting the breakdown overly hard. I thought they would contest it harder, in all honesty, but they're getting bodies in the line and putting their tackles in. But let's take a moment to kind of appreciate what the USA are throwing at Scotland. Their attack is outstanding. They're moving the ball when it's sweaty, it's hot. They're getting the big ball carriers with the ball in hand.
I think we're getting a brand new front row on.
I think so. Well,
I just heard 1 and 3, so that'll be Dell and McCallum coming on for Jamie Batty and Xander Ferguson. I think I heard Wayne Barnes say that. So, and I think I heard 13 Nick Grigg going off too. And that'll be Mark Bennett.
I'm interesting to see, but yeah, the Taufeti is getting treatment, so they could be changing the USA front row as well. But their attack is improved as the game's gone on, and they're not doing the same thing. They're varying it well. There's a kick attack. AJ McGinty is controlling things. We're going to hear from Gary Gold now.
You have to be pretty pleased with that 9-try performance last week against Russia.
Yeah, there were elements of that performance that were really pleasing. Obviously, elements of that performance that I think still need some work on. But yeah, by and large, it was a good performance. I think there were some things we did really well, some things we set out to do that we accomplished, and always, as will always be the case, there'll be areas that we want to work on.
And this week you face your biggest challenge as coach, as the Eagles face the 6th-ranked Scots. How does a match against a quality side like Scotland play into your World Cup preparations?
Perfectly, really. This is exactly the type of opposition and the quality opposition that we need to see how far we've evolved, see how far we've come as a team. We know what pool we're in Japan. I mean, it's a pretty strong pool with England, France, and Argentina. So if we can't go toe to toe with a quality outfit like this, then then there's going to be a very, very long 4 weeks in Japan. So we know how massive the task is. We've got a huge amount of respect for the Scottish team. Brilliant campaigners, professionals throughout, and highly experienced, and really excited to see how far we can come today.
Thanks for your time, Gary. Best of luck today.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Brian.
Well, you're back with us live, and we have a ding-dong game here, don't we? The action in Houston is as red hot. Whoops. Yeah, USA Rugby. Hey. So, he won't come from Morningside, will he? Go on, US. That's what you want.
I wonder if he's got his boots with him.
I'm just being told I've got to wait, so...
Yeah, there's 1 or 2. You can see the changes you hinted at, John.
Yeah.
Alan Dell's on, Murray McCallum.
Okay,
so it's 2 new profs for Scotland. Taufeti still there in the front row for the USA. There he is. He was looking considerable pain just before we went to the water break. His shoulder on his ribs.
He plays prop and hooker. Taufeti.
I think he could play both at the same time.
That's the line of the evening.
Some machine had 2 tries.
Binds.
Mark Bennett, I think, lining up for the short one. Oh, Scottish scrum trying to make some ground. Ferguson gives it to Bennett. There's the crash up from him. He's held up. He's held up. Away he goes, say the referee. Horn flings it back to Hogg. Hogg long down the field. To Will Huey. Hooley, the Englishman, well, he's not English, he's playing for the USA, but had played for England under-20s, taken securely by Matt Ferguson, looks up, finds his captain. Good captaincy material.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll lead by his performances, and you can see he's taking a lot of extra responsibility. And we've got another situation where no one wants to make a mistake. Both teams are playing for territory, well taken by Matt Ferguson. I assume Byron McGuinn will kick this long as well. And they're either looking for a wee chink in the kick chase, or they'll put it back in the air, go contestable, and try and win the territory with a kicking battle.
AJ McGinty's been very impressive. He's been very impressive. Gives it to the number 7, Hermes Hayes. And that was exactly what Chris Patterson was talking about. They wait till a mistake, and the USA go ahead of Scotland in Houston. McGinty with the break after the kick. And the number 7, Hanko Hermes Hayes, with the try that sends delight through the American supporters in Houston. What a score.
Well, they deserve it. They've been by far the better team in this second half so far. 20 minutes into the second half. He's a hard worker, Hermes House. He's been physical in around the breakdown. He's lost a couple of balls in contact, but he'll not worry about that now. Time and time again, the ball was put in the air. There's 2 or 3 long kicks. McGinty decided to go high, put pressure on. Unfortunately for Matt Ferguson, he can't hold it. McGinty regathers his own kick, offloads to Hermes House, and he dives over in the corner. We were saying Scotland will relish a challenge. There's certainly a big challenge ahead of them now. I think USA deserve the lead. They've been the better team in the second half, and he's certainly delighted with his score. Dived over in the left-hand corner. That was the ball. Unfortunately, didn't quite get his body in the right position. Matt Ferguson. McGinty has been so influential. Hermes House dives over for the 3rd try of the evening for the US.
Do you know, you talked about McGinty, and he has been very, very key. And, you know, we talked about these 8 teams. They've started this MLR, and Hermes Hayes plays for the Austin Elite team of Major League Rugby. So he plays for one of the 8 pro-American teams. And if this is what's happening, this is the future of USA Rugby. Great kick. That is a great kick under pressure. The USA, the tide's turned in Houston. USA have a 6-point advantage, and Chris Patterson, they deserve it.
Do deserve it. There's lots of time left. There's 20 minutes, obviously, and Scotland will by far have a big impact in the remainder of this game. But I think for the moment, for the momentum of the game at the moment, USA deserve the lead.
Scotland have won the last 5 games against the USA. Houston, we have a problem.
Not yet.
Not yet, you're right. Always be positive. Davis, Swinson tries to charge it down. Look at the floodlights in the sky. Taken by Adam Hastings. He got clattered, but was a foot in touch. It was. It's going to be a line out. Listen to the whoops in the background. The players love it. The USA Eagles players love it.
Well, that was a brilliant kick by Sean Davis. Adam Hastings did well to keep that, to get underneath the ball to catch it. He did all that he could to try and stay in field, but the ball's landing a metre, less than a metre from the touchline, and Marcel Bracchi with a follow-up. Adam does really well to try and keep the ball alive, but his foot was in touch.
Yep, the USA Eagles have some substitutes on too now. Titi Lamositele is on at prop, and round the short side they want to come. More confidence. You can see the confidence surging through them. Again, that long block for Davis. He pulls it deep in the maul. Swinson's charged it down. Tim Swinson. Play on, says the referee. This is a right scrap of a rugby game. Davis comes left. Dolan tried to offload.
It's too late now, mate.
62.5 minutes gone. 6-point deficit. Scotland losing in Houston. Again, they've used the kicks to advantage, haven't they? taken by Kinghorn, one of Scotland's top players this evening. Horn then into that rhythm of his. Fagerson past Dolan. Has some help from Fraser Brown, gives it to Adam Hastings. Hastings tried to sneak through, dropped, then tackled the scrum half beyond the ball. And Adam Hastings...
Just drop the ball.
Well,
Yeah.
Peter Horn saying he can't get into support, he's being blocked.
Yeah, saying watch the off the ball stuff. Maybe just planting the seed in Wayne Barnes' mind. Unfortunate for Adam Hastings there, it was the right decision. There was a little bit of space in between the two defenders, but as he challenged it, he threw the ball forward, and as Wayne Barnes just retorting with, listen, I'll decide what happens. Don't challenge everything.
Do you know, I think one of my favourite rugby words is bite. When a team has bite, and a bit of, the All Blacks have bite, this USA Eagles team has bite.
Well, they do,
and some physicality.
And don't forget, they were 7-0 down within the first 2 minutes, so they were, they fought back from that, and then Scotland went 14-6 up, so they've got bite. They've got a composure, but they've also got a level of accuracy. The last 2 or 3 box kicks from Sean Davis and the chase has put so much pressure on Scotland that they can't get the possession, they can't get the flow going. And Scotland, they don't need to panic, but they just need to try and keep the ball under the pressure and retain it in order to be able to drive their own standards in their own game. There's 2 or 3 changes, John, on the bench. More experience coming on.
Okay, we good? Right,
Dave Denton comes on. Huge player. He'll relish this. He'll relish the hits. Sam Hidalgo Klein is on too.
Yeah, just everything's going for the US at the moment as well. Even the charge down. Toulis got a great charge down, but the ball could have bounced anywhere. It bubbled into the arms of the USA, and they were able to reset another attack. Tides against Scotland at the moment. Let's see if we can wrestle it back.
The USA looking comfortable. Time for Scotland to come back into it. McGinty again. Lascitelli, good break this time. Another punishing runner, Bryce Campbell. Campbell makes it up. Scotland trying to turn it over. Back it comes to Davis. Davis looks up. Again to Hermes Hayes. He's abrasive, Hermes Hayes, isn't he? Denton asking, was it held? Davis goes, tackled by Denton. He's on his back. John Quill is there. You can shout, you can hear the shouts of the US players in the background. This is Manoa, this massive player, plays for Toulon. Scots go back to defend. Hermes Hayes plays pick and go, looks up, gives it to Civetta. Civetta, the second row. It's all the USA. It's all the USA. Again, AJ McGinty, who's good at beating the first couple of tacklers, isn't he? Gives it to this man, Lasike. He's tackled by Hidalgo Klein. And it's a great piece of defence by Scotland. Plenty of continuity from the USA. And Fraser Brown with the turnover.
Well, we mentioned the impact of the bench. It was Sam Hidalgo Klein that spied Lasike, flew at the line, he hits him, and then Fraser Brown got over the top of the ball and couldn't be moved, won his side a penalty. That's maybe just that little bit of, I suppose, moment in the match that can turn it for Scotland's favour. It's the first thing they've won back for a long time, and maybe it can swing the momentum back. There was Sam Hidalgo Klein getting up quickly. Adam Hastings is in there as well, but number 16, Fraser Brown, wide base, strong over the ball. And it's one of the first times we've won a penalty or a turnover at a breakdown, and it's maybe a crucial one.
That's Lasike. What's interesting is that the USA Eagles aren't really playing the ball wide too much. They're playing narrow, taken by Brown. Brown gives it to Hooker. Oh, inside to Kinghorn. Blair Kinghorn. Kinghorn's over the 22. Kinghorn still going. Yes, Hastings with him. Scotland with the ball. Hidalgo Klein goes left to Denton. Denton through half a gap. Offloads to McGuigan. McGuigan steps inside one man. Inside two. He's tackled by Peterson, the big warrior. Glasgow Warriors. Taken up by Hastings. Hastings long ball. Long ball out to Swinson. Tim Swinson, the big number 6. 4, 5, 6 metres short. Lots of blue bodies in the ruck. Look up to, this is the tight head replacement, McCallum, Murray McCallum. Scotland playing well again. Again, Hidalgo Klein gives it to Bennett. Bennett skips inside one man. Scotland 5 metres short. Gives it to Hidalgo Klein. Hidalgo Klein looks up to Denton. Still to score a try for Scotland. Denton, good impetus. Gilchrist with Toulis. Absolutely thumping runs in Houston. Fraser Brown dives on the ball. Hidalgo Klein has. Again, McCallum doing well. Lots of possession coming his way. Round the corner, it was going to Denton. It's Bennett. Oh, yes! That's a try and a half. And the referee wants to see it again, but there was countless phases. And then Bennett came on the short ball. And as he got Scotland into a winning position again.
It's a try, yes or no, is a question that Wayne Barnes has asked. I'm pretty sure this is a try. It's Mark Bennett. We're going to have a look at, did he ground the ball? He's certainly over the line. Did he have control? We'll have a look here. Sean Davis makes the tackle. We're just having a look at whether he's lost the ball, and that is in control there. Oh, I think he maybe has lost the ball. I take it back. It's been knocked out of his hands. Whether it's his own hands or whether it's Sean Davis, it's Sean Davis's left arm.
He's going to York on this little screen we've got in the corner.
Yeah, he's lost that.
No, that's not a try.
Not a great view. So we're looking at whether he's holding the ball when he's grounded or not. Have you got a decision?
Wayne Barnes obviously can't get a good view of the big screen, similar to the incident in the first half. So he's asking David Grass off the TMO to inform him, but I think he sees the pictures there. It looks like.
Yeah. Lost the ball. Thank you very much. No try.
Well, Scotland bench made an impact there. Manny McCallum carrying really hard. As soon as Blair Kinghorn got in behind, really threatened the USA defence. It was another fantastic break by Blair Kinghorn. And Scotland, they went through their phases, they went through their systems. But that man there on your screen, Sean Davis, his last-ditch effort, punched the ball out of the hand of Mark Bennett just as he was over the line. Could be a big moment in this match.
Yeah, on comes Chris Baumann.
He's an experienced
yeah,
front row as well.
Leicester Tigers.
Okay, first scrum, just patience.
The crowd are still fully engaged.
It's good.
Well,
they're taking Davis off. He's been playing well, Davis.
Crouch.
Otzberger's a good player as well.
Yeah, Augsburger's a sevens expert. The new number 9, well, rather number 21 there on the left-hand side. Augsburger, good player. Ben Landry, too, good tackler, plays for one of the other pro teams here. There he is, the number 20. Glendale, one of the MLR Major League Rugby teams.
I think this is worth Scotland having a real
crack at this
scrum. Really go after it. You've got fresh props. You've got big Dave Denton in the back row just in. Really go after this, make it miserable for USA. And if they do get it, make it hard for them to clear.
George trying to get his feet back. Oh, good secure ball by the USA. Taken by McGinty. McGinty's almost caught. Oh, just gets into touch. It'll be a line out to the Scots. Good pressure from Scotland.
Yeah, it was good. Sam Haddad playing hard into the back of the scrum as well. McGinty, who's been so impressive, managed to get the ball away. I actually think he couldn't get his kick away because Lasike, his inside centre, was in the way. And he ran laterally, so he was closer to that right-hand touchline. He didn't make a lot of ground with it, but he got off the field, and the USA can reset.
Well, the lineouts have been profitable, haven't they? George Turner knows that. Here he is.
It'll be Grant Gilchrist is calling the lineout now, so it'll be his decision. Or the catch and drive, the throw at the front, in the middle of the tail.
Sweetly done. Round that blind side. Oh, didn't work. No space. Pass to Turner. It was too high. Went through his hands. Wet, slippy, sweaty ball.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too intricate, wasn't it? They've had so much success from the driving maul over the last couple of weeks, and in fact the first half here as well. Maybe it's a double bluff. The USA were expecting the drive and they've shifted it, but they're still here. The USA still have to get out of their 22, and Scotland should still be applying pressure.
Easily taken. Peterson has. I think he's on instead of Samuel Manoa, is he? And Tullis has managed to spin this round. Swinson, his usual abrasive self. The USA have. Just kicked long by Augsburger. Such a finely balanced game.
This is well to get that away. Nate Augsburger, the scrum half. I thought Manny McCallum had swum round the maul illegally, but he'd got in nice and early.
Your second row's down, okay. Watch it stop. Watch it stop.
You know, watch it stop. There's somebody, is it Tullis that's getting. Oh, it's big Grant Gilchrist. He went through to try and charge down the scrum half.
Right. Okay.
Putting pressure on.
Yeah, no, of course it will.
Otzberger just as he put his kick away. But it's interesting. You see Gilchrist flying through there. Just caught a bash in the nose maybe. But that's a good sign as well. Make it really difficult
for the team who are trying to exit to clear the lines to get away. Scrum halves hate it, but it's so effective.
In you can, then,
You
my
can
friend.
sense the
Watch
atmosphere in
on.
the stadium, can't you? It's good to see the way other countries support their teams. And the USA fans are right behind this team. Denton has taken round by George Turner. Turner runs into a couple of tackles. You've got Taufetti is there. Round it comes to McCallum. He's come into a good game. Hidalgo Klein looks. The ball's produced well. Hastings thinks, goes left to right. Fraser Brown spins round, and it's a forward pass from Adam Hastings, was it?
Yeah, just drifted forward. It looks as if it was a kind of 2 or 3 phase move there, a planned move from the line out. George Turner did really well. He was actually hit really hard by Landry. I think Ben Landry, who made the initial contact, initial tackle. And that stopped the momentum as Landry gets a little bit of treatment. I don't know if we'll have another look at that, but it was a fantastic tackle. And then it looked as if Scotland were going to flood down the left-hand side. And because the USA's defence is strong, Adam Hastings came back right and the pass drifted forward.
Do you know, it's good to analyse these games, isn't it? You had a first half where Scotland got the early try, bit of confidence, inexperienced players. We know the USA have scored 60 points in some of the games. They've come back, they're on the home turf. They've got big forwards, and they're playing narrow, but they're kicking. They kick and chase.
They've been accurate. The USA have been accurate, and they've been, committed as always. All international teams, all rugby teams are committed, but they've been accurate with it. See Dougie Fife coming onto the field as well.
Surprised they've taken off some of these players. I thought Hermes was playing well.
He looked exhausted, didn't he? But the Ben Landry, he has a good impact as well. It's Byron McGuigan who makes way for Dougie Fife coming on. And he says 9 minutes or 8 minutes left, just over 8 minutes left. There will be opportunities for Scotland on this test. In the remaining 8 minutes, there will be, and they've just got to try and stick to their system, stick to their structures, trust what has brought them a lot of good results. So the USA, on the other hand, well, they're unbeaten in 2018.
Yeah.
Scored over 60 points in the last 2 games against, World Cup qualified opposition in Uruguay and Russia. 9 tries last week, but it's a defence and it's a game management that's impressed me this evening.
What's stopped? What's up?
It's a big pack. Let's not beat around the bush. That's a big USA pack. Look at the front row. Look at the condition of the back row. They look well conditioned.
Well, Greg Peterson's a giant, the beard.
Yeah.
Second row, he plays at Glasgow Warriors. When you see him in amongst the Glasgow Warriors squad, he's a giant. And he blends in there, doesn't he?
Savetta beside him, he's 6'8".
I just want to make sure you're okay. Just got a HIA.
That's a big pack. Yeah, that's Landry getting an HIA. Good refereeing by Wayne Barnes, just sending Ben Landry for a head injury assessment. That was the tackle that he put in on George Turner.
Stop the watch, please.
So maybe.
Thank you.
We'll come back on. Maybe
Hermes Hayes come back on. Hermes Hayes, maybe, yeah.
Please put it on when I say.
Yeah, he's back on, number 7. Just when he thought he was going to get a rest.
Okay. Yeah, it's inside. Just give yourself space. Please don't stand up, either of you.
The USA team just clarifying that the scrum is inside the 22. So that,
okay, what's back on, please?
Depends. That then has a knock-on effect of whether they can kick straight out. So if they want to get the ball off the field here, they can kick it straight off the field. Because the source of the scrum is inside the 22.
Oh, good pressure by the Scots. Well won, though, by the USA. Dolan, the number 8, just stood his ground.
It's inside.
Nate Asperger, as I said, the 7's expert. There he is at 9, has 3 forwards there, gives it to the man who, well, he's very much the man of the evening. Joe Taufetti, 2 tries.
It's now taken back.
McGinty knows he can't just stick this one out. The Dougie Fife watches it. He has his captain beside him, Stuart Hogg, gives it to Kinghorn. I think Kinghorn's grown in stature. Just this last couple of games, he's now become, well, he's certainly one of the players you would stick on the team sheet pretty quickly. Well taken by Dell to Peter Horn. Peter Horn is tackled. Dougie Fife is there in support. Hidalgo Klein, Scotland desperate to get back into this game. Still losing by 6 points, 6 minutes left. Makes such a difference if you win. Was that a knock-on? I think it's an injury and a knock-on. The Scots, look at the atmosphere among these USA players. They're loving it. They're loving the fact that they're beating Scotland in Houston.
Yeah, it was just too narrow in that blind side there. George
stop,
Turner
please.
did really well actually to carry it. Alan Dell did well to hold on to a long pass, and I think it's Peter Horn saw a bit of space inside Greg Peterson.
Right, just make sure, all right.
Greg Peterson knew what was happening. He stepped in, made the tackle. Peter Horn just lost control of the possession. So it's a scrum on half field to the USA. They're 6 points to the good in the final few minutes, final 5 minutes or so of this test match. There's one or two guys getting treatment. It is such a physical game nowadays. Add to that, you played in 30-degree plus heat. It's a big challenge. Obviously the next year's World Cup we were all building towards is in Japan, so they'll face different temperatures. They'll do a lot of travel. This tour that Scotland are on, they're obviously played in Canada last week, they're in Houston this evening, they're in Resistencia in Argentina next week, so it's 3 games, a lot of travel, not a lot of time to train. In between these games, there's so much travel as Lasike takes a well-earned rest. He's put himself about as always. We've spoken about him beforehand, but he's been destructive, and he'll be replaced, I think, by Will McGee, I think, in the midfield for the USA.
Leeds University from London, Will McGee in the midfield. I mean, if the USA win this will cause a ripple in World Rugby, because although it's by no means a fully experienced Scottish side,
Crouch.
it is now. Many more of the players on the pitch now are experienced campaigners. As we said at the start, only 5 of the starters were in double figures. Penalty to Scotland.
Yeah, it's a cracking scrum. Huge pressure coming through in Taufet in the hooking position.
2 to his knees and out of the scrum.
Yeah, and this is where the experience tells. You know, just under 5 minutes to go. Don't panic.
No.
You've got an opportunity to find a good touch deep in the territory of the USA.
Just
I think
need
it's a
one more
really good
perfect kick by Stuart Hogg. Just needs one more.
Oh, he's not happy with the assistant referee, but it's sticking to your system, it's sticking to your structure. There'll be a clear call, win the possession, and then we'll see
that's right.
whether they drive this,
sure
whether they go off the top, whether they move the big
75,
American
55.
pack around. But it's sticking to the systems. They'll have a plan for being in this situation. Let's see if we can execute and get success.
Here we go. Gilchrist has. Scottish Mauls have been going really well. At the back with George Turner. The USA trying to stop it at source. The Scots moving closer to the line. What is this? 3.5 minutes long. Penalty advantage. Turner has. Hidalgo Klein gives to Bennett. Bennett swarmed. Horn is there with him. And they're going to play the penalty advantage. Will they go for another line out, maybe?
Collapse.
Yeah, I think so. It was well managed, good discipline and good patience, because the USA defended that initially pretty well, and then Scotland got it moving forward, knowing that if the ball, if the ball was collapsed, it would win a penalty. It's another good throw. It's another good call.
Just replacements.
Another good execution needed.
It's been one of those games. You just don't know what's going to happen. The USA had the momentum at the start of the second half. On comes Dylan Fawcett, another Irish descendancy player anyway, was brought across here, Dylan Fawcett. 6 points, the deficit.
Okay, as they land. Watch on.
Denton lifts Gilchrist. Gilchrist has. Fraser Brown has. Back it comes to George Turner. Could this be the key try? They need to convert the try to win. It's a 6-point game. Turner has. He's been told to get out. It's Savita. And it's gone down. Referee says play on. Was that knocked on by Hidalgo Klein? Was it knocked out of his hands? Whatever it is, it's a turnover for the US of A. The US Eagles, a couple of minutes left. They're going to try and keep this ball. Taken up, I think, by Peterson. Tense moments in Houston. Nate Augsburger shouts at his team. Savetta comes round to this other side. They have to use it. Swinson tries to charge down. It touched his hands. It'll be a line out to the US of A.
Yeah, it was charged down. Nate Augsburger's just making sure that Wayne Barnes is aware of that. I think it was Toulis. And Gilchrist had got through, so they'll be the USA throwing. Well defended again. USA didn't put anyone up against the throw on the last line. They just put all their eggs in one basket and stopped the drive. And then as the ball came out, it looked as if it was
maybe a hand came through and interfered with the ball as it was presented to Sam Hidalgo-Klein. It's come half.
Scotland open.
But Wayne Barnes was happy with it, and the USA could clear the lines.
Step or
Crucial 2 minutes left. Yeah. And the key to tonight, a couple of things. You don't want to lose a game, but international ranking points up for grabs. The USA will do everything they can to keep this ball. Minute and a half left as they grind up the pitch. And that is Tullis has managed to get in. And the US have. And could this be a famous US win? This is exactly what Scotland didn't want, but they've the US, they deserve this position they're in.
And they're controlling the situation really well, aren't they? They're communicating well with Wayne Barnes, they're looking after possession, they're not taking too many risks. Scotland are throwing everything that they have to try and disrupt to win the ball back.
Dolan takes 45, sits a penalty to Scotland.
Sealing off.
Whoa!
Number 19, straight off your feet.
Drama. This is for the winning.
Yeah,
this is for the winning.
Referees are hot on this. They want to make a fair challenge for the ball. Greg Peterson goes straight off his feet, not allowing a fair competition from the ball. And when teams are trying to play the clock out, referees look for that. It's a good decision by Wayne Barnes. It was a bit silly by Greg Peterson. And Scotland have one more opportunity.
Sure do.
And that's right, I'm told.
32 seconds left. He needs a try and a conversion.
And he's calm heads to start with. They need to make sure they get the call. Stuart Hogg's in there. Grant Gilchrist, the line-out leader, the line-out caller, making sure everybody understands the system, everyone understands the call. And then it's a matter of executing it under the pressure. 32 seconds remaining.
It's a winnable game. The game's never over.
Watch on, please. Off feet.
It's a line-out.
That's the first part done.
Set up right.
Well, interesting to see. We'll look for the USA. They've gone quickly. George Turner to Grant Gilchrist.
Taken to Gilchrist. Penalty advantage. Penalty. This is a winnable game. 15 seconds left, plus penalties, plus all the rest of it. And here it goes. Here's George Turner moving forward. Peterson has him. He's been told to get out. Taken up by Denton. Still advantage. David Denton smashes up. Taken by Kermesses. Adam Hastings to Dougie Fife. Fife came off his left wing. Hidalgo-Klein gives it to Bennett. Bennett has Kinghorn. Bennett's held up. Still playing penalty advantage, are we, Mr. Barnes? Taken by Hidalgo-Klein to Gilchrist. Head down. Steams up. Ooh.
Is an injury, is it?
Could be a head knock. We can't see the pictures. Someone's screaming.
We go back for the
Sounds
penalty.
like a knee injury.
Okay. Yeah. You just make sure he's.
That's never nice to see. It's John Quill and James Robson first on the scene there.
I think you're still
wonderful to see from the Scottish
Scottish
perspective. Or from a World Rugby perspective, the Scottish doctors on immediately to help one of the USA guys. And Wayne Barnes, such an experienced, good referee, knew the situation blew up, and he'll come back for the penalty for Scotland.
We're at full time, thank you. Yeah.
We don't want to watch.
Penalty man in the air, okay, so we'll go back. It's on the 5 metre, but it'll be in 15.
Just twist.
Oh.
There must have been someone that alerted. See Wayne Barnes there.
He's screaming.
One of the Scottish players as well as
Hold on. So have you got any
alerting
more
the
subs?
assistant referee to the injury.
Oh no, the HIA can come back on for the other player if it's not gone over 10 minutes. Hold on.
It's certainly been a heroic effort from the USA, isn't it? And there's going to be one. Well, we said there was one more opportunity for Scotland. They've got another one here.
Okay, so what's happened?
This is the HIA, it's been cleared.
Right, and has he been cleared within 10 minutes, or has he gone beyond 10 minutes?
No, within 10 minutes.
Within 10 minutes, so this is a 10-minute point, so he can come back on, the other player can come back on.
This is where players always tell each other excitedly to keep cool heads.
Yeah, it's Wayne Barnes as well.
Have they got another replacement or not?
You hear the referee Wayne Barnes.
They can't bring a player off who's already been subbed. If he wants.
Looks like the USA might have run out of all their subs.
Well, they're down to 14 men.
Back on for the HIA.
Yeah, they've run out of subs, and the
HIA
player who went
can
off,
only come on.
So the HIA
if he's
is cleared,
passed.
so you want to bring him on for the HIA, so that's fine.
All right, so it's less
So you
than
can do
10
that
minutes.
one.
He can come on.
Yeah, so it's Ben
But
Landry.
then you have to make a replacement for that player.
Yeah.
So that player can. You want to reverse your HIA, is that correct? Okay, no. What do you want to do with your HIA player? What do you want to do with your HIA player?
So this is separate to the knee
HIA
injury.
is reversed.
So this is
So
HIA,
this is,
and then there's no
so
one else
this-
to bring back on.
yeah, this is key because this is an HIA player. And are they going to reverse the HIA or not? Did he fail or did he pass his HIA?
Well, they're saying he's passed, and they're saying it's within 10 minutes.
Let's just make it clear. A substituted player can only come back on the pitch for a HIA or a blood. Okay? So the player who you want to bring off can't come on for this player. So you have to replace this player.
Yeah.
So go.
We could be here all night, ladies and gentlemen.
7 off.
We've been here all night, John. Yeah.
It's been a good game. It's been a game.
It's been an
where
excellent game, yeah.
Ebb and flow. Scotland started off well. USA came back in. Still, I mean, I've said it twice, but it's still a game that's winnable.
So this will be Ben Landry coming back on for Hermesses. And then the USA will still be down to 14 men because of...
And you want 22 for 6. Is that right?
They've run out of replacements, I think.
So 22 for 6.
Now, Will McGee, they're going to take off again, I think, who's just came on, and replace him. Oh, 22's coming on now.
Yeah.
So he's now. So they did have someone. They must have. So Will McGee hasn't been on. The initial discussion was the fact that they used all their substitutions.
That must have had Dylan Hodsley on
You don't even have to kick it. Okay. Penalty, man in the air, they're taking the line
Anyway,
out.
we're back to here. We're Scotland have to be composed. They have to execute
Let them land.
the plan.
Let them land.
And we'll see this time if
Not if
the
it's a
USA
penalty.
go up and contest it, if they stay down to defend the drive.
I wonder, given they need the conversion, will they try and drive round the tail and get closer to the posts? Here we go, taken by Gilchrist. It's a slightly messy one though. And have the USA got it? No. Down the left-hand side goes, is that Dougie Fife? Dougie Fife is smashed. He smashed high. Hidalgo Klein has. Scotland need to score a try. They need to convert it to win. Picked up by Murray McCallum. He's played well, Murray McCallum. And they're going to do pick and go. Tullis, pick and go, taken down by Peterson and his troops. Denton has. Denton over the top. Swinson. Time's run out. 81 minutes played. The next breakdown is crucial. Scotland need a try. They're moving towards the post. This is ideal if Scotland can get this down. Taken by Gilchrist. Gilchrist just takes it. Penalty advantage is not there. Taken by Denton. Denton smashed down. Fraser Brown calling for reinforcements. Dell is there too. Swinson's been involved in everything. And was that knocked on? Back it comes. Gilchrist on top of his own players. White hands in there. Is that turnover? Off his feet. Scotland still have. There are the posts. It's a 6-point game and needs a converted try. We know this. Through the middle goes Turner. Turner is battered down. Hidalgo Klein gives it to Tullis. He's had a good game too, Tullis. And Hidalgo Klein gives it to Denton. Denton, there's the posts. Absolutely key passages of play here. And Swinson again keeps presenting himself with the ball. Hidalgo Klein looks left. Denton into Peterson. Denton has the ball. Comes back to the Scots. Scots have a bit of momentum. Gilchrist runs into these big back row players. Again, they're making ground. Swinson again wants the ball. Chris, what would you do? Just keep this pattern?
You have to keep it going. They're not making a lot of ground, Scotland. The defence of the USA is ferocious.
Reasonable.
They're slowing the possession down.
Not the side.
Scotland have to keep their composure.
There are a couple of gaps around the side of the rucks. Fraser Brown is knocked back.
Off your feet.
And again, that little pod of three. Now they go left. Adam Hastings. Hastings threads it out to Fife. And Fife is in. Oh, We've played 3 minutes of extra time. Fife scores the try to take Scotland within 1 point. A conversion wins the game. Drama in Houston.
Well, what a score, what a pass by Adam Hastings. Scotland knew what they were doing, they were keeping possession, the forwards worked so hard. After 80 minutes, they kept going, they kept bludgeoning away. One pass out. Fraser Brown deliberately almost took a soft challenge to get quicker ball, and then Adam Hastings read the play, came from right to left, he carried, he then delivered a lovely long pass out in front to Dougie Fife, who did what he needed to do and finish. There's a long pass over the top, fantastic vision, fantastic execution. Dougie Fife finishes off well in the left-hand corner, and it all comes down to Blair Kinghorn.
Time your run, okay? Time your run.
It's been a brilliant evening's entertainment. Watch Adam Hastings here, just threads the ball through the eye of the needle to Dougie Fife. And Fife scores the try. It's going to be, what, 4 minutes? 4 metres from the touchline. Crowd are booing. Time is up. This to win the match.
Well, he's kicked well so far. He missed one penalty earlier on, but 2 conversions from the touchline, 1 from either side. And it's this is all about keeping your system, keeping your process, focusing the ball.
Here we go.
Keep the rhythm.
Nearly 85 minutes gone. Wayne Barnes looks on. Blair Kinghorn, he's had an amazing evening's work. Here he is. He takes his couple of strides, kicks the ball. Does he look happy? Does he look happy? Does he look happy? He's missed it. Oh boy. He's missed it. And the USA are rightly delighted. They are rightly delighted. They lose it. And the USA have a deserved and shock win over Scotland. Their first win over Scotland in 6 occasions in the Texas heat in Houston. Next up, it's Scotland against Argentina. The final score, USA 30, Scotland, the losers 29.